I'm Gary Nickerson,
And I'm Quinn Taggart.
and this is Outside My Window. Everybody wants to win some money. People love to play the lottery. It's a lot of fun. Well, we've got a guest in. I think second time, Dave Hall, that you've been part of this podcast talking about the Tri-12 lottery. Welcome back.
Thank you, Gary. It's a pleasure to be back with you.
So, first of all, for those who may not know, give us a bit of history how this Tri-12 lottery came about.
Well, it's a sort of a spin-off from the former Y12 lottery. As people are quite well aware, I think at this point, the YMCA closed, and of course, the lottery went by the wayside. There were two organizations that looked at it, the Yarmouth County Agricultural Society and the Yarmouth Arts Regional Council. They had a look at it and said, gee, maybe this is something that we should look at picking back up after the Y closed, because the community was asking, well, what about it? What's going to happen to it? Because people, as you mentioned, like to play lotteries. They like to be involved in the community, and this is a community event. So these two organizations got together, formed a board, which is the board of the Tri-12 lottery, and looked into what it took to start the lottery. And trust me, it's not an overnight project, because you have to apply for licenses with the Gaming Commission, and there's a lot of background paperwork. They looked into it, thought it might be feasible, and said, we're going to apply for a license to see if we can't put it back in motion and put money back into the community. So that's the basis of how it started.
Yeah. Was it difficult, Dave, at first to start that new lottery, even though it was sort of a spin-off, if I can use that term, of the Y12 lottery? So, promotion and getting that messaging out and all of that.
Well, yes, Gary, it was quite challenging first year. This is our third year. The first year was quite challenging because we basically were starting from ground zero, and we didn't really have a whole lot of background in it, because when the YMCA closed, all of the records and all of that information became their property, and was not available when we started ours. The only, I guess, good thing that we did was we bought, or when I say we, the Tri-12 lottery, bought some of the equipment from the YMCA, some of their lottery equipment. So it gave us some start, but we really started from ground zero and had to sort of develop it ourselves in our own way. So it was in its infancy. It started slow, and we learned as we went along. But our whole goal was to sell enough tickets to make enough money to put it back into the community.
Location is important. When you're selling your tickets, obviously you folks selected a perfect location.
Well, the mall is very important. The Yarmouth Mall is a center and a hub of the town, and it's a natural to go into that environment. Now, I have to give a lot of kudos to Linda DeVoe, the manager of the Yarmouth Mall. She has been tremendous in getting us space. And that's not easy because, as you know, their space is rental space. That's how they make their money. So in order to give us space, and they do give it to us, it's a bit challenging, but she's worked with us every year. She's found us a place to be, and that's so important because it is important to be in the mall.
Yeah. Obviously, Linda and everyone understands the importance of this lottery. Not just fun to play, but it's helping out the community. I always said, even if you buy a ticket and you don't win, you're still a winner because you're helping out the community, right?
Yeah, every penny that we make and spend is in the local community. We buy all of our products locally, from all local businesses, from the tickets being printed locally, our signage being printed locally, even the stationery, the pens, everything that we use, we purchase from local businesses. And of course, the money all goes back into the Tri-Counties because the winners live in the Tri-Counties. So it's a real win-win situation sort of for everybody. Like you said, if you buy a ticket and you don't happen to be lucky enough to be one of the lucky winners, you've still supported wonderful causes in the community, and your money stays right at home, so to speak.
So, Dave, give us a sense of where the proceeds go after it's all over.
Well, Quinn, it's pretty straightforward. The all the monies, as I mentioned, stay local, and they all go to nonprofit groups. They go to the ARC, the Yarmouth Arts Regional Council, the Yarmouth County Agricultural Society, whom put on the exhibition, as you people are quite well aware, and those two organizations in the last couple of years have had challenges because of COVID. You couldn't have an exhibition, you couldn't have any activities at the ARC, and unfortunately, their bills kept going on. There's building maintenance, there's people to employ, there's insurance, and it goes on and on. So the monies go to those two organizations, plus they're the sort of mother companies of the Tri-12 lottery. Then what they do is then they donate money to the Tri-County School Board and the CSAP School Board healthy eating programs. So they sort of like spread the love once they get it. So it's a kind of a twofold situation, but it's all money stays to nonprofit groups and all money stay locally.
Now, is it the same groups every year that benefit from the lottery?
The last two and this one as well, they are the same. Now, will that remain the same forever? I don't know. That's not a decision that I make. That's a board decision. But the last 3 years, it's been those organizations and will be again this year.
So, when you look at the reach of the lottery, what's your target selling area for the lottery?
Well, that's regulated by your lottery license with the Gaming Commission, and ours is what they classify as Southwest Nova. It's basically from Annapolis Royal to Liverpool, and sort of around what I call the loop around the end of the province, which is where we live, is right down on the tip. So it's basically, from, like I say, Annapolis Royal through to Liverpool. Primarily, most of our ticket sales are from Digby to Shelburne. That would be sort of the small demographic area.
So, how many people do you have out? I mean, I know you're selling them at the shop in the mall, which is fine, but how many people do you have that are actively out selling the tickets themselves?
That varies a little bit, Quinn, but it's approximately 30 sellers that are throughout the Tri-Counties, and they can sell basically anywhere within that southwest region. And so like I say, it fluctuates a little bit because some sellers come on, some sellers drop off. So, but it's approximately 30 at any given time.
So, give us a bit of a breakdown of what the prize pool's like for this year and when your first early bird draw might be.
Well, that's when the fun starts for me, because I love giving money away, as Gary probably knows over the past, especially when it's not mine. And
it's a lot more fun that way.
That's right, and that's when the fun starts, and that's one of the things that we're very conscious of, because we have to make enough money in order to pay out the prizes, because we give away $155,000 in cash and prizes, and over and above that is the 50-50 draw. So it gets close to $200,000 by the time we're all done. So you got to make sure you got that money, because the Lottery Commission says if you're going to sell tickets, you're going to give away the money. So you have to sort of have that planned in escrow to make sure you do have it. So we give away $155,000 in cash and prizes. Our very first draw is approximately a month away. I think it's November 18th, and that's for $5,000. Then on December 9th, we have another early bird for $5,000. And the one unique thing I think a bit about our draws is if you win the early bird draw on the 18th, your ticket goes right back in the drum for all the subsequent draws, which makes it even more exciting for somebody to get a ticket. There are 45 regular draws, plus the 50-50. So it's you got a lot of chances to win, and it's kind of fun when we start giving the money away.
Well, I mean, when you look at the odds of, as of the date of recording, the Lotto Max is up to, Lord knows, $70 million and change and whatever. But I mean, your odds of winning that are less than getting struck by lightning. right?
Yeah, we don't want anybody to get struck by lightning, but we do want to give them a better chance than that.
That's right. So, what's your cap on tickets? Like, if you sold out, how many tickets would it be?
The max that we can sell are 3,600 tickets. That's it total. Or December 31st, whichever comes first.
So 1 in 3,600 is pretty good odds.
The odds are pretty good. An actuary could probably figure that out. However, I can't. But yeah, the odds are pretty good. That's one in 3,600 if it's sold out, and then again above that you got the 50-50. So yeah, odds are considerably better than the Lotto Max or 649.
So when I buy a ticket, do I automatically get a chit to get into the 50-50?
Well, the way the ticket sales are set up, the main ticket, what we call the main ticket, covers all 45 draws. That's $130. If you want to get into the 50-50, you can buy a 50-50 ticket for an extra $20. So for $150, that gets you into all 45 draws plus the 50-50. Now, if you just want to do the 50-50 and nothing else, we have another ticket that you can buy for $30 that just gets you into the 50-50 draw alone. And again, last year, the winner last year won almost $30,000 take home. So the 50-50 grows quite nicely. So, for $30, if somebody just wants to get into that, your odds are pretty good there, and the prize payout's pretty good.
So if I buy a ticket at 130 and an extra 20 gets me into the 50-50,
That's correct.
can I buy extra 50-50?
You sure can. The 50-50, there's no limit. The extra 50-50s, I should say, there's no limit to them. You can buy 5, 10, 15, 20, 1, or 100. And you can buy them at any time. You don't have to have the other in order to just buy the extra 50-50. Yeah.
So if I've bought the ticket at 130 and the 50-50's 20, are my extra 50-50's 20 if
No.
I buy the ticket?
No, the extra 50-50s are all $30.
All 30. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
the first one that you buy with your regular ticket, you get a little discount because you're buying it with your regular
That's
ticket.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to be clear so that people,
sure.
because you know as well as I, people will get you'll get hammered on the little details.
It can get confusing. We try to make it as simple and as we can, but yeah, it can get confusing.
So the Tri-12 lottery, Dave, has provided a lot of options. First of all, ways that people can purchase a ticket. So you can go, obviously, to the office at the Yarmouth Mall, but what if somebody maybe can't make it in at a particular time? How can they buy a ticket?
Well, we try to make it as convenient as we can. And we do have the Lotto shop in the Yarmouth Mall, or you can do it by phone. You give us a call, and we can take all credit cards. You can give us your credit card number, and that is, once we get that, is destroyed by law. You can't keep credit card numbers, and we wouldn't want to anyway. Yeah. So you can do it by phone. You can we can have a seller come to you if you're in a specific area and you can't make it in. We'll try to arrange to have a seller physically come to wherever you're at, and they too can take a credit card or cash. The only thing they can't do is debit, obviously, but we can at the Lotto shop. We do debit, MasterCard, Visa, or cash.
Now, if someone forgets the draws coming up, perhaps they're not able to watch it on Facebook, and the Tri-12 Lottery is on Facebook, right?
We do all of our draws on Facebook Live.
That's
yeah,
right.
If you just look up the little Tri-12 icon, the little sort of circle patch that we have there, that'll take you right to the live draws, and so people can watch it. But if they don't happen to see it, if they don't happen to hear it, or they can't be there, as soon as we do the draw, we try to contact the winner, and we either do it by phone or we do it by email, we do it by texting, but we really make an effort to get a hold of them right away so they can know that they've won.
Now, who gets the pleasure to make the phone call? Is it you as admin, or is it Mitch Bonner? Or
No, we have a Lotto shop manager, Debbie Gavey Hall. She is the manager of the Lotto shop and does all of that coordinating. And she's the lucky one to give you a call and let you know how much money you've won. And wow. The reactions sometimes, Gary, are quite priceless, I should say. So I said sometimes I wish we could record them, but you never know what the reaction's going to be, and you never really know if you're going and when you're going to get a hold of them.
True. Yeah. It must be so much fun for all of you to, be able to give away money.
It really is. It's because, and it's helping the community. It's just so much fun when you can call somebody and say, "Oh, you just won $5,000, or you just won $25,000 or $30,000." It does, and it's not the amount. Everybody gets excited when they've won. If it's 1,000 or 30,000. Interesting. Last year, we tried to contact a person that had won, and he was out on a fishing boat and was going to be gone for a month. So we tried to track him down, and we actually got a cell phone number for him, and we talked to him on sat phone out on the boat. And he said, well, because he said, well, I won't be in for a month or so, but that doesn't matter. The payout is still there, and he was excited to know that he had won.
Nice. What's it like, from the family's perspective too? I mean, because obviously the person that wins is going to be happy. But I mean, it helps spread it all the way around.
Yeah, it does, because most of the times the monies go back into the community one way or another, even the winnings. And the other thing that we find is a lot of people buy tickets as gifts. Yes. And it's really exciting to call someone that doesn't even know they have a ticket and tell them, "Oh, by the way, you just won $25,000 or whatever the amount might be," and they don't even know they have a ticket. That's and they said, we've had the reaction, "Well, no, I can't. I don't have a ticket." Well, yes, you do, because so-and-so bought it for you as a gift. And we keep those things secret. Say if it's a Christmas gift, somebody wins the early bird, we have another number we call. We ask the person that buys the ticket, "Do you want us to call you, or do you want us to call the person that you bought the ticket for?" And sometimes people say, "No, call me. I want to keep it a secret until Christmas." But so it makes it fun for us.
Well, that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And it's like I say, when you can call somebody and say, "Oh, by the way, you won," and they didn't even know they had a ticket. So it makes it real fun for us.
As the saying goes, they make great stocking stuffers.
Oh, yeah, especially a lot of people buy the 50-50 for stocking stuffers, but it was amazing because people will come in and they'll, some people buy 4 or 5 full tickets and they're out for gifts, for family members or whatever. And the interesting part that we found in year 3, we track it every year just to sort of see stats and whatever. And we find the interesting part that it seems like a little more mature people are buying them as gifts for their children, because they say, well, they've got everything, so what do you buy them? Well, if you buy them a lottery ticket, and the draws go on right through till March 31st. So it's a gift that kind of keeps on giving for quite a few months, and so it's pretty exciting for the people that are involved.
I know that, again, very similar to that. It's like my dad's 82. I've bought him a whole workshop full of tools over the years.
Yeah.
'Cause what else do you buy him? I've bought him movies. I've bought him this, that, and the other thing. What do you get him?
That's what a lot of people are saying. A lot of people are in a position, if they want something, they get it themselves. So when you come to Christmas time or a special occasion, you go, "Gee, I don't know what to get them." Well, a lottery ticket works very well because they're happy to get it, and they can play along. Once they have their ticket as a gift, then they can play along, because the majority of our draws don't start till the 1st January. So you get your ticket as a Christmas gift. Now you can sort of play along and watch the draws right straight through to the end of March. So it's fun for everybody.
So historically, you've had a car as a grand prize kind of gift, but this year you've gone into the world of outdoors. And now you got a side-by-side, which is also really cool.
Yeah, we ask people, what do you like? Well, you're going to get, a gazillion different responses. But a lot of people are, like you say, outdoors people. And especially we find since COVID, because the only place a lot of times you could go was outside. That's right. So we said, okay, well, let's maybe have a look at this. And we were fortunate enough that Terry's Rentals was able to provide us with a Polaris side-by-side. It's a beautiful machine. Or if you don't want the machine, if you want it, the side by side, you can take $25,000. But so we kind of went a little different way this year, just to give it a try and see how it goes.
One thing about I do like about the side by side, they're like a car.
Yes.
My God, they got stereos and seats and stuff that I mean, holy.
Oh yeah, this one is the Polaris that has doors on it, and it has all lights and equipment. Like you say, it's almost like a car, and you can have a lot of fun in them. And there are a lot of trails and areas that you can go in this area. So people really enjoy that sort of a unit. Yeah,
We do have a really nice trail system.
we certainly do, and we should be proud of that because it's well maintained and it's well looked after. So people in the area really enjoy it. I know I enjoy walking the trails. So and I kudos to those people that keep it up because they do a fantastic job.
All volunteers.
Yeah, all volunteers.
Dave, it's got to cost a lot of money to operate a lottery. There has to be a lot of expenses, phones and fax machines, and some staff and whatever. And, you want to keep those expenses down. And that's where sponsorship comes in place, as you well know. So talk about your sponsors, your very faithful sponsors.
Well, yeah, and they are very faithful. One of our sponsors that's been with us since day one is Casa Office Equipment, and I can't say enough good about those people because they provide us with equipment, they deliver it, they set it up. If we have a question, we're on the phone, and they're there in minutes to help us out. They can service. If you talk about service, I don't think you'll find a company anywhere that does service any better than Casa. And we're so pleased. The first year when we called them, and again, we were in the infancy stages. We didn't even know if this was going to work in year one. And we said to them, this is what our plan is. This is what we need. What's it going to cost us to, set this up? And they said, nothing. And it's pretty hard to beat nothing. They said, what do you need? So we told them what our requirements were. They delivered it to the mall at our shop and helped us set it up. And they're there for support. If we have a question, they're at the end of the phone, and they're right there to help us. TriStar Charters, they've provided us with some equipment. Another company that just stood up to the plate. And, of course, the Yarmouth Mall, as I mentioned before, with Linda DeVoe, the manager of the mall. She's diligently worked to try to find a space. And she has to shuttle people because people, stores and businesses come and go. And where she's donating us the space, she normally would rent that space. So, our hats off to her and to the mall management and to the mall owners because they give us the space to set up a store. And without it, it would be pretty tough in order to make the lottery successful.
So I know you're a numbers guy. So when you look at your ticket sales, what sort of percentage are coming out of the shop versus your sellers?
That, Quinn, varies. It has varied from year to year. But, the shop probably does, in an average, 35 to 40% of the ticket sales. But the one important thing to understand is we could not possibly do this without our sellers. It just wouldn't happen. We have people that sell a lot of tickets. We have people that sell a few tickets, but every single ticket matters. Every one counts. And without those people out in the streets, talking it up, promoting the lottery and selling tickets, this just wouldn't happen. It's simple. It just would not exist.
How much of a plus is social media for you?
It's I watch that fairly closely, and it's a big plus. It's because word of mouth is great as long as somebody's saying something nice about you.
How often does that happen on social media?
So the word gets around, and it is a big plus. Any form of media helps. And as Gary, you and I being I won't say old, senior radio guys, we know that any publicity is good publicity in one way or another. So yeah, it all matters, Quinn, and it all helps very much.
Also a good avenue for your ticket sellers as well.
Oh, definitely. It's because they have their own. A lot of them have their own pages and have their own Facebook accounts, and they promote the lottery within themselves. I know it's maybe some people would say it's self-serving because they're going to sell more tickets, but so be it. It does work. And the opportunity that you and Gary have given us to come on your program and reach your audience. And your audience, I know for a fact, is growing every day. It's just it's priceless to us. It really is. It means so much to have the opportunity to get the word out.
Well, one thing about COVID, I mean, you were talking earlier about some of the negativity of COVID. People were inside, and then trying to get outside. Born out of the fact of being inside and not being able to get outside, Gary and I were able to put this podcast together right in the middle of all those restrictions, and it's done well. We're proud of the fact that we're able to reach out to people like yourselves and have you on the program because we know you guys are doing good things. Social media, I chuckle every time I mention social media because of the fact that every time you open it up, it's like, geez, I'm done with this shit, And then yet 2 minutes later, I'm checking it to make sure that, something's going on. But there's so much negativity out there. It's really good for us. And we pride ourselves on being able to highlight the good things that are going on in the community. And there is a lot of good things going on in the community.
Yeah, there certainly is. And it's the thing that I enjoy about your program is I always don't have the opportunity sometimes to hear it when it first airs, but I can go back at my leisure and I can listen to it. And you've had some wonderful, wonderful guests on, interesting. And some people say, well, everybody thinks they know it all. It amazes me how much I've learned about our area and our community from your program. And because I can sit at my leisure and I can listen to it and absorb it when I'm not have all the other activities sort of distracting me. So I enjoy sitting down and listening to your show. Sometimes it may be days after that it originally aired, but it's there for the community, and I know the community appreciates what you're doing.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, very kind words, Dave. Thank you. It means a lot, coming from you.
Well, it's like I said, it takes individuals like you people to reach out because there's so much that goes on in this community that gets missed. Gary, you and I were in radio for 40-ish years.
That's right.
And you, and being a news person, where had the pulse of the community, and so many things that go on that people don't know about. I find since I've got out of that sort of mainstream business
Yes.
since I retired, there's a lot of things I miss, and because you're not involved in it, but I can get it from a program like this, and that means a lot to me because I'm sort of a newsy nut, and I like to kind of know what's going on. Sometimes I feel embarrassed when somebody says, "Oh, did you know about this?" And I'm like, "Well, no, I didn't." Well, it was in your backyard. So things like this, give me the opportunity to catch up and keep me informed. Yeah.
Well, appreciate that. So, Dave, let's go over some highlights. Y-12 Lottery. First of all, the office in the Yarmouth Mall. Easy to find.
Yeah, it should be, although sometimes people get a little confused. But if you go in the Sobeys end, if anybody remembers the old GNC store, we're located in the old GNC store that used to be in the mall. You go in the Sobeys end. The easiest way I can describe it to people, you go in the Sobeys end, go down the ramp, turn left, and stop, and look left. And you'll see the shop set up there. Now, we have signage. And this year, Gary, we have a display of flags, world flags from different countries. And what that represents is it represents the multicultural festival that was held at the exhibition this year. It became part of this year's exhibition. So the flags are to represent the different countries that were involved in that this year. And it will be back again next year, as I understand. So when you come down and you see all these beautiful flags hanging up from different countries, That's what that means. And that also identifies that you found the Lotto Shop.
Very nice. Tri-12 Lottery also on Facebook, so we want to mention that. And the phone number, 902.
774-0555.
Perfect. And I'm just going to go, because, I mean, the prizes, I got to highlight these again. And they are mentioned on the Facebook page, by
That's
the way.
correct. Yep.
You got 45 cash prizes totaling $155,000. And then you've got total cash prizes that include two $5,000 early bird games.
That's correct.
Yeah. Then you got the 50-50 draw that you mentioned.
The 50-50 is, that's done on December 31st. Great way to start off a new year. Right now, the 50-50 is at $5,000. And within the next week or so, it grows every day, guys. And it's pretty hard for me to sort of guess at what it's going to be, but I can tell you it's going to be substantially more within the next week or so.
It has a tendency to spike at the last minute.
It sure does. And like I say, last year the winner was Crystal Jacquard and John Vacon from Belleville, and they got $29,305. That was their portion of the 50-50 last year. So and we are anticipating that this year will be very similar, if not better.
Excellent. And the Polaris is given away.
Then we do it with the draw for the Polaris on the 31st.
Okay.
Yep, the end of the year. Another great way to start off your new year. Like Happy New Year. You just won a new side-by-side, or you just won $30,000+. What a great way to start off a new year.
Wow. So get out there, have some fun, buy a Tri-12 lottery ticket, and helping out your community as well. And don't forget, Christmas is coming, so they make great Christmas gifts.
They sure do.
Yeah. Dave, thanks so much. Always great to talk to you.
Well, Gary and Quinn, I appreciate the opportunity to bring some light to the Tri-12 lottery and what we're about and what we're doing. Last year, I sort of jokingly made a comment that if you're not in it, you can't win it. And that somehow became
The tagline.
A tagline. We had people come into the lottery shop today, and one woman and a man at different times, and they walked in and said, "I got to get my ticket because if I'm not in it, I can't win it." And I guess you can't.
We thank you again, Dave. I'm Gary Nickerson,
And I'm Quinn Taggart.
and this has been Outside My Window.